about the angles in a triangle. So if you think about a triangle, it's got three sides, so it also has three angles. And those three angles, no matter what the triangle looks like, how big the different sides are, or the different angles, the three angles always add up to 180 degrees. Always, always, always 180 degrees. I'm going to make that really stand out. So whenever you are doing a problem and they give you two angles and they ask for the third missing angle, there are two steps. Step one is that you add the angles from the problem, the ones that they give you. And then step two, whatever you get, you subtract from 180. So those are the steps. And we're going to look at an example. So let's say we have this triangle. And they tell us that this right here is 56 degrees. And then we're going to have that right there. And this right here. We don't know this one. Now they didn't label this one right here, but we know that that symbol, or hopefully we know that that symbol means that that's a right angle. And hopefully you remember that a right angle is 90 degrees. So we know this one and this one. We don't know this one, but we know that they add up all together to be 180 degrees. So we just have to do our two steps. So step one is adding this one and this one. So 90 plus 56 gives us 146. Sometimes they will have that as an answer choice to see if you're paying attention. That's not our answer because we still have to do step two. Subtract from 180. 180 always has to go on top because it's the bigger number. I can't take 6 away from 0, so I've got to regroup here. I'm going to borrow from this 8. It's going to become a 7. The 0 becomes a 10. And I figure out that that angle has to be 34 degrees. And you can always double check by adding this plus this plus this, and it should give you 180. If it doesn't, you made a mistake. Let's look at one more example like this. Sometimes these will involve decimals, so I want you to see one where you have a decimal number. So they've given us angle U and they've given us angle V, but they want to know what angle T is. So again, step one is to add these two angles. This didn't have a decimal, but we can always add a decimal and a 0 because you have to line up your decimal points when you're adding or subtracting. So in order for me to do that, that's got to be 123 points here. And then I add that together, and I get 154.5. Then I have to subtract from 180, and again, I've got to add a 0.0 so that I can line up my decimal points. I can't take 5 away from 0, so I've got to regroup. I've got to borrow. There's nothing to borrow from here, so I've actually got to go all the way down to the 8. It becomes a 7. This would become a 10, but I'm borrowing from it, so this becomes a 10. That's 5, that's 5, that's 2, and that's 0. So that angle T is 25.5 degrees, and that's how you find the missing angle.